Okay, so today we're doing a water meter beehive removal, beehive relocation. I'm putting a little smoke in there to start. And then before I even get started, I'm going to take some lemongrass oil and put it into the box. This smells like the entrance to their hives, so they really like it. It's a good thing to just say, hey, this can be your home. This is a temporary rehoming box. It's called an Easy Nuc. I'll eventually put them into a larger box, but this seems to be a small hive just based on the activity from the outside, so I'm not going to use a huge hive to relocate them, and they're pretty easy to set up. So these bees, just looking at them, they're pretty low on pollen and nectar, so they're going to have a hard time surviving through the winter. So this is probably the best time for them to be relocated, because I'll feed them with some sugar syrup when I get back to the house, to the apiary. So I'm going to start by cutting off their brood and putting them into these already rubber banded strands, rubber banded frames, and then I'm not going to keep all this comb. Again, it's just a lot of useless comb. They have some brood in here, but it's pretty much empty comb, and they will eventually make more comb. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to be looking for the queen. Sometimes you don't find her. You just got to scoop the bees in there and hope that she's in the grouping of them, which normally is the case. I'll be looking for her. This is their brood, which means just their little babies that they're in their larvae. Normally this time of year, when it's a little bit colder, they don't have this much brood. But since it's been a pretty warm winter, they have a pretty active hive. I'm going to cut it to make sure it fits. Not cut off any of the good brood, just cut off the bottom. And this is pretty old comb too. They've been here for probably about a year, based on how dark this comb is. I have a little bit of pollen in here as well, a little bit of nectar. It's about to become honey, or if it doesn't get eaten first, which might be the case because they're pretty hungry bees. There's not too much nectar and pollen in the area because it's winter, so this is probably the best thing for them, is to get a new home where they can be active and full of all the good stuff. So here's one frame, and you just put it in the box. This one doesn't have too much brood on it, so I'm going to look for ones first with brood. I want to prioritize putting their babies in there first so they have enough offspring to survive the transition. I got a queen clip ready just in case so I can catch her. This one just has a bunch of honey. There's some beetle casings in here, which you don't normally see this big of a beetle inside a hive. They're just robbing the bees. This one's full of pollen and nectar, so I'm probably going to put this one in there so they have some protein for the winter. I keep using that smoke. The biggest where I get stung the most is my ankles. I could wear boots, but it's very hot where I live, so I often don't, and just take the risk. There's a bunch of bees putting pollen and nectar in there, chewing it up, spitting it in there, getting ready to go for the winter, or really just for the next few weeks. This will probably last them. It's not too much in here. I will give them pollen substrate when I get back to, which is pretty much just pollen patties. Pollen patties are full of what they need. The pollen the pollen does one thing, and the nectar and honey does the other. Nectar and honey is full of the carbohydrates they need, the sugars, it's quick growth, whereas the pollen is the protein that they need to feed to their babies to grow bigger. Really, they store up more pollen in the summertime, because the winter they don't use it as much because there's less babies growing. There's more just survival in the winter. And I'm not seeing the queen yet. She might be just in this mess over here. There's some honey in there as well. This is my second water meter removal of the week. It seems to be that normally it's way slow around this, very slow for removals around this time of year, but because it's so warm, it's 74 today is the high. We're in Texas, so it's going to be a little bit of a different winter for them. So they really should be just storing up and moving less, but right now they're pretty active. This is just empty comb. These bees are pretty nice. They haven't come, normally if they're mean, they will be swarming my head, and they have a certain frequency of a swarm that sounds angry. And you can definitely tell when there's angry bees versus nice bees. The sound that they make is wildly different. These bees are just confused as to what's going on. They're pretty gentle. They haven't come swarm me that much. There might be a few that would try to sting me if I had my suit off, so I normally do bee removals with the full suit on. But now the box is full, ready for them to move into their new home. I might have to leave them and come back for a bit based on how much they're trying to move over. But right now I'm just going to try to get all the bees as I can into the box, get them comfortable, hopefully find the queen so I can put her in a queen cage and get her moved over. This one is full of pollen, so I might save that one and put it next to their hive for them. That one, it couldn't fit in the box, but it is ready to go. And I'll use all this honeycomb to make lip balms and candles. Okay, so the queen is most likely in this mess right here. If they even have a queen. I hope they do. If not, they will figure out a way to make a queen cell and re-queen. But they should be active enough. There's fresh babies, so they should have a queen somewhere in here. It's just finding her. It's always takes the longest amount of time. And I'm gonna put this smoker in here to get all the queen leaves a pheromone, and so if you put that in there, it'll kind of douse that pheromone, make it a lot less present, so that the bees don't think, oh, we should go back to where our old hive was. This is full of honey right here. This is about as much honey as they have. It's not that much, but I will put this on the edge of it for them so they can use, and then they will eventually, I'll discard that comb once they transition that honey somewhere else. So this water meter has been left for a year because this is a brand new build. Someone is building a new house, so it's probably hasn't been noticed for that long because no one's been using the water meter box. That's usually how it happens. I live in the country, so it's pretty rural out here. And to find the queen is the most impossible task every single time. It's never easy. She's a little bit bigger than the other ones, but almost very hard to notice by the naked eye. I got LASIK, and I'm thankful for that, but still, even that is not the most helpful. And if you don't remove all of the comb, they are most likely to come back to that same area. So what I'm doing here is just picking out the comb. I'm trying not to harm any of the bees. I'm trying to get as many as I can into the box. I would normally, sometimes, if I can't find the queen pretty quickly and they're coming after me, I might just shake them all into the box and hope that she's in there. But since I have a nice slow day today, I have time to really dive in and look for her. There's not many male bees in this colony. I haven't seen one actually. That's pretty common in the winter. This is my favorite tool ever. I've had this since I started. It's just a long serrated knife. It's really nice. I would recommend it for any new beekeepers. I also have a heavy duty one of these. This is great for getting into walls, getting into whatever you need, and then it also is great for, it has a separating the hives between in boxes. It's also great. It's a great multi-tool. I'd recommend one of these. So if there's one thing you should learn in beekeeping is patience. This is one of the slowest. You got to be slow with it, or else they're gonna die. They might not transition over. And when I first started, I lost a lot of hives just by being impatient and moving them as quick as I could, trying to get done because I was scared of all the bees. But if you can really sit with the bees, it's a wonderful spiritual experience. They are amazing creatures, and it's really cool that I get to spend time with them every day. I'm super blessed. Okay, so they're still pretty congregating in this area, so I'm guessing she's in here somewhere. She usually hides pretty quickly once the hive gets open. If you're doing a bee removal like in an attic or something, it's often very hard to find her because she goes and hides in the smallest part of the attic, which is very frustrating. But if you can open the whole hive like this, you have the best chance to be able to get her. And this box was just big enough. I think it's going to hold all of their not empty comb, which is really good. 5 frame nuc, pretty small. It's better to do small nucs over the winter as well. You want to keep, it helps with warmth, it helps with keeping them together. If they have too big of a space, they might not know what to do in the winter. It's really interesting. I think I'm going to shake a bunch of them into the box just so I don't kill her on accident when I'm cutting this comb out. Oh, I see her. Nice. We caught her. Chat, clip that. She is in this little thing, so I'm going to put it in the box and hope that they join her. Heck yeah. It's a good sign. That means they will all follow into this box, all the pheromones, and they will be in their new home. I will unclip it when I get back to my apiary and hope that I might wait a day. They'll feed her while she's in there. They'll make her feel right at home. That is huge that we found the queen. Congrats, everyone. Right now I'm just cutting out the excess comb so that they don't return later on. There's not many bees in here anymore. A lot of them have followed the queen. The ones that do stay behind, they're just smelling the pheromones. They're thinking, oh, she's still in here because we smell her on all of this honey, all of the stuff she just touched. That is really exciting. We caught the queen. And I have some sugar water sitting at my apiary ready to go. I just made it today so that they will be, I knew I was going to get a new hive, and I wanted to give them as much supplies as I could over the winter. I'll probably sugar water, backfeed them for a couple days, get them all nice and fat before the winter. Show you, I put her in this little clip right here, and as you can see, they're smelling her, they're trying to feed her, trying to get her out really. But she is too big. She's not getting out anytime soon. She's a nice young queen. It's a nice looking queen in there. Here, let me show you one more time. Hoping that I do not disturb her. You can barely see her, but she is in there. She's the bigger one in there. The other little bees can get out, but she is too fat, too happy. And now I'm gonna wait about 15 minutes, let them all find her in this box, clean up what I can, and then get out of here. I'll speed it up. I'm actually going to open this up and put her at the bottom so that she does not get smushed. The bottom has a little bit more space. It has a big opening down there. And I will let her out later once she puts enough pheromone in this box. They decide that it's okay for her to be in there. And then I'm going to close this up and put the entrance facing the hole where they just came from. There's a little entrance down here. I'm going to put a little bit of this nice smelling lemongrass at the bottom of this entrance. And I'm pretty much done. In about 15 minutes, I'm going to take them back to the apiary, and then I will open them up later, maybe this evening, maybe tomorrow, and let the queen out so that she can take to her new space.